So hey, this is Ken, and we were trying this new technology thing on a discussion board. Professor Dalton said to try it, so this is gonna be discussion board two, water issues and solutions. We were asked to identify one problem, one solution. Reply to another student, a web link to a current news story, which I'll be providing, and some other information on this topic. The key concept after reading Water Not As Clear as It Seems was overgrowth or overpopulation in the state of Colorado. I would honestly have to say that the growth population issue is a great concern, especially in the Douglas County area. Um, Currently live in Parker, Colorado, and just in the last year that I've lived here, we have seen tremendous growth of people leaving the Denver metro area, moving to Parker because they think it's that small country community vibe. The other thing is there are a lot of people moving from western Douglas County, from areas like Highlands Ranch and Surrey Ridge. They are moving out to Parker as well now, selling their multi-million dollar homes and having homes built in the communities of Ridgegate, Stonegate, having houses or buying houses in the Pinery on Highway 83 going towards Franktown, or they were building into another community over there off the to the west of Franktown. Once again, with all the influx of people moving into this area, is creating a great concern of upcoming water usage coming this summer. It's also possible creating fire issues out in this community due to a lack of precipitation that we've had. In the current area, there currently is 4 water treatment facilities, probably within a 6 mile radius. You have the Stone Gate Stormwater Treatment Facility up off of Jordan and C470. You have Parker Sanitation and Water off of 20 Mile. A little bit further down, you have the headquarters of Parker Water Sanitation. That's off of Reuters and Parker. And in the same area, you also have the Reuter Reservoir, which is actually a watershed that's supposed to be providing water for this area. But due to everyone moving and building their homes, they are being extremely taxed on what they can provide. Perfect example is the Stonegate Stormwater Treatment Facility. Right behind it is actually in the process of building a booster pump facility because Stonegate is growing and pushing west. So like I was saying, once again, with all this growth, especially in this part of Douglas County, in the Parker, Franktown area, water is becoming a little bit scarcer than what it normally is. Some of the solutions, is like I said, is that some areas are implementing xeriscaping, where you're not allowed to have very much sod. They're building other facilities to try to move water here, like the hydro boost pump behind the stormwater treatment facility on Jordan 470. Just like Denver County, El Paso County, they're going to be implementing certain days that you can water your lawns if you have them. The other issues that are going with the increased growth and movement to this area is the concerning issue of stormwater management. Stormwater management is having someone go out and making sure that all the codes are being followed, so the water that flows down into a stream, river, gets absorbed into the ground, goes into an aquifer, is as clean as it can be. Due to all that construction occurring in this area, the concern is that stormwater prevention and maintenance might be falling short. Anytime you have growth, you have increased stormwater issues based off the fact that you have erosion, you have gradient erosion and sediment control issues where they might not be following state guidelines or federal guidelines, putting silk fence in here to prevent sediment from going down into a stream like Cherry Creek, using erosion control logs that are made out of coconut to filter the water and sediment from each other as it comes down slope. Gradation areas, not grading the slopes correctly, that's going to cause stormwater issues and cause water issues come this summer and this fall. These are all issues that are getting tied into overgrowth, overpopulation. The correctional steps is, like I said, is following the codes, making sure that stormwater, erosion control, sedimentary control are top notch. Limiting the water days that you can water, zero scaping, not putting water extensive plants into new areas. Basically, returning the land to how it was is another example. Reacclimation or mitigation of a construction site. Replacing disturbed exposed ground with native grasses. Hydromulching. All these issues are going to help us conserve water as the season progresses. Douglas County did, do a study showing that gradient erosion, sediment control, reacclimation, zero scaping is going to be enforced as building and new construction continues to go. DeRuyter Hess Reservoir, can only do so much for this area. So by using stormwater treatment facilities, by using purification facilities, we are going to have to reuse more and more and more water. As drilling occurs in this area, aquifers are going to be, depleted. You have your groundwater and then you have your subsurface water. And as those resources are tapped because of the ongoing growth, we're going to have to reuse what we have. We're going to have to find ways of using gray water to water our plants, water our trees, water our lawns, wash our cars with. We're not going to be able to use purified treated water because water is a scarce thing here in Colorado. One story was also talking about, even though this story was dated almost 5 years ago, Denver Post did a story on Colorado needs to do more digs to find more water. They did find a humongous aquifer, back then, between Colorado Springs and Castle Rock. However, though, that was 5 years ago, and as we've seen, the whole area has exploded. They determined that this would be significant and would sustain this community, this environment for up to 100 years. But once again, that was in 2013. They did two drill sites. They found out there was almost 18,000 acre feet of water a year there, and that there was adequate hydrological flow and pressures to move that water. I would just, harp that, reuse is going to be a way of the future. If we don't learn to reuse it, we're done. With us being in a drought in this area, if we continue to overconsume and overuse, we're done. And basically, Denver Post from the Colorado Digs to Find More Water from 2013 kind of shows that the Reuter-Hess report on the reservoir and how it is providing water and being basically a watershed is proving that. Douglas County's Gradient Erosion Sediment Control Manual is re-emphasizing all the information. And then the last thing I wanted to say, talking about reuse and conservation, is Douglas County, the Colorado School of Mines, did a groundwater study, and they did a bunch of GIS studies stating that the county has grown, populace has grown, development is growing, and local groundwater resources are shrinking. So they actually used GIS and did a map of the area showing what the water situation was. Really, I talked to Professor Dalton about this, video discussion board. We're trying it out. We're going to see how it works. And a little bit different than writing one, but, you can actually throw a little bit more information in it and hear a different side of what's really going on. So, this is Ken, and I'll talk to you all later.